This is Module 3, the three main services of a social media manager. Social media managers are responsible for giving the social networking side of any product a facelift, which eventually raises the viability of the product along with its demand in the market. Almost half of the world's internet using population has access to the popular social networking sites, and this crowd forms the core group of customers who are the target audience for most of the firms. Here are the three main services a social media manager provides. The first being setting up of the company's presence on as many major social media sites as possible, followed by getting new customers or business, and lastly, advertising the latest promotions, products, and offers of the company. As the name suggests, the primary role of these professionals is to be responsible for creating a space for the service or the product which has to be marketed. Since this is a virtual space to be dealt with, it is imperative for the managers to clearly differentiate between various kinds of people who access the social networking site and those who do not. This is a continuous process of identifying the customer base and regularly increasing it. In order to set up the business, it is important to know about the business which is to be advertised. The branding strategy actually depends upon the vision and mission of the firm, which would offer the basic guidelines to be followed while advertising the product. Initiate a discussion between various people who visit the website. This would be the first step towards gaining a loyal base of potential clients. After setting the goals for marketing the services, the other important job is to build a strong customer base for the business. Considering the number of social networking sites visited by the users, a large number of sites would make branding much more efficient and productive. For a social media manager to provide these services, sheer knowledge of internet does not suffice. It is essential for him or her to be abreast with the current trends in the market and the right audience to target, since any shortcomings in targeting the appropriate audience can be detrimental and counterproductive for the product itself. After identifying appropriate audience which have demand for their services, the next step would involve the manager sharing various offers which could be provided to users and the potential clients. With the growing need of internet as a mode of communication and also means of diminishing borders, the entire world is open to a marketer for sharing offers and promotions. A need for a social media manager has grown in demand over the last few years when the social networking sites have come in foray. Phase 1 is the social media setup. In this phase, we will take a deeper look at the first and foremost phase of the whole process. In this phase, you can offer to do the following tasks. That is, set up a Facebook page along with the information write-up. Set up a Twitter account along with profile info and custom graphics. Set up a LinkedIn profile. And lastly, set up a profile in other major social media sites like Google+. You have the option to charge higher if more social media sites are to be covered. The primary task for any social media manager is to identify the most appropriate media through which the product would gain a considerable amount of publicity and positive response. Various popular websites where the adverts can be posted could fall amongst Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, and microblogging sites such as Twitter. Various blogs could also be a good way of making the product popular. This is a way of not only building up a consumer base amongst the virtual world, but also a method of spreading awareness of the product. There are various activities which can be done to make the internet a productive platform for marketing products. Facebook offers various applications which assisting in promoting any idea, product or service, etc. Most of the social media advertisers use this tool in making the service gain a considerable amount of visibility amongst its users and prospective consumers. As a social media manager, you can create a page that carries detailed information regarding the services and the products. This would lead towards attracting a considerable amount of people who would be following the updates and information over this fan page. Apart from Facebook, which is home to almost a quarter of the entire population which runs over the internet, Twitter, the microblogging site, is extremely quick when it comes to the turnaround time in getting back with the number of hits and people who follow a service or product shared over the page. Setting up an account on Twitter quickens the process of making the product more popular amongst a large audience. Most of these sites are for personal and individual usage. LinkedIn adds a different touch to the entire population. It's a social networking site which focuses on the building up of a professional network amongst a growing number of professionals. They might range from those who have similar skills to those who might be interested in knowing various other trades and interested in building their networks. These three sites, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, are the three giants of the social networking arena. Apart from this, even Google has come up with a website which runs on similar lines with Facebook, known as Google+. There is a new set of people who are attracted towards this website, and it comes around as one of the most reliable sites because it belongs to the most coveted search engine, Google. Google Plus runs as a competitor to Facebook and contains almost the same users which have been using the latter. Using different social media sites is a good way of advertising the product to increase the popularity of the product across a wider audience, disregarding diverse cultural and geographical backgrounds. Apart from that, healthy dialogues and discussions can be undertaken between the moderators of the site. This involves the social networking manager and the individuals who have an interest in the offers of the firm whose site and details have been shared over the networking sites. After the Industrial Revolution, which set the world towards a high, the next revolution was witnessed with the invention of the World Wide Web, commonly known as the Internet. Since the world was taken in the grip of the Internet, every advertisement, ranging from a common one to a niche product, ventures to meet its future clientele via the Internet before it hits the stores. Therefore, it has become essential for most of the top-notch brands to communicate their services and product to an audience which belongs to different generations but socialize on the same platform. Many offline companies have such large setups that it gets difficult to focus on another section of prospective clients which exist in the virtual world. Most of these virtual clients might not turn out to be the perfect audience. This is where the social media manager contributes, being aware of the usage of social networking sites via internet. Apart from making effective use of the internet, it is important to understand the product which is being marketed. This is phase 2, adding fans, followers, and leads. If you take a closer look, phase 1 is usually a one-time thing which leads to a one-time payment. Believe it or not, the second phase can help you get recurring business from the same clients in order to be paid over and over again from the same customers who want your service. All you need to do is to offer to advertise their social media site, that is Facebook profile and Twitter profile, to help them get more followers. In this phase, we'll look at ways to get followers, fans, or leads on your client's behalf. As a process of building a social networking media setup for sharing the details about any product, it becomes important to make this information available over various networking sites. Making the audience aware of the existence of one such product becomes the first step in any strategy focusing on social networking sites, as it is a means to reach out to and thereby build an audience. Here are some ways to increase followers. Providing exclusive content, promoting various social media assets, participating in several interactive sessions, building value, displaying consistency, offering something for every sign-up, running a contest that comes with free gifts, using entertaining videos, paying for targeted traffic if all of the above is unable to attract clients. But trust me, that will rarely happen. Most of the companies for A-grade brands are so huge in structure that they do not focus on the internet as one of the most affluent and effective ways of advertising. With the advent of the revolutionary Facebook in the field of social networking, internet marketing has taken a different route altogether. Therefore, any brand which aims to make it big and increase its market size needs understanding about its competitors by analyzing the wide variety of internet users, who could be a potential source of understanding the pulse of a prospective audience. After setting up a base, which helps in the interactions between the manufacturers and the end customers through these websites, the manager would be required to introduce the process of reinstating the importance of these services and products. This is not only for the benefit of the firm, which would always want its customers to be cognizant of its products, but also important for the manager. This is because, as a social media manager, you are paid only once after the site has been installed. If you want recurring payments and to continue your services with the firm, it is important for the site to be active so that potential offers and services are continuously shared with the audience and remain visible for a longer span of time. This phase is important as it is the key toward retaining clients who have been won earlier and would allow a chance to act upon the suggestions and feedback which have been shared by users. This can be undertaken by sharing the product details over a social networking site such as Facebook. By doing so, can increase the visibility of the product and increase the responses which would be elicited and thereby also judge the rate of success of the product. After the product has been regularly advertised over the social media, more fans would join the site. This would be a productive move for the product as it would eventually reflect in the number of sales which have been made in selling the product. The success rate of every product differs with the strategies and the tactics which have been used by marketing managers. These strategies would be a scale at which the performance of the manager can be gauged. For most of the successful ones, the firms would look forward to working with them again. Hence, this would require the social media manager to be equipped with various other strategies which can be used in making the product more successful. Keeping these factors in mind, social media advertisers must not only keep in mind the choice of marketing tools, but also the prices which are to be charged for offering his or her services to the client. Hence, come up with competitive prices that fully represent your skills. It is imperative for the manager to focus his or her efforts toward continuously increasing the number of clients and generating sufficient leads so that the product sales continue to grow. There are multiple ways in which followers and fans could be increased over a period of time through persistent efforts of the social media manager. Since most of the fan base and the clientele would be well aware of the trends in the domestic and international market in relation to the product, it is essential to make the most appropriate projections while placing the product in the market. Apart from that, the innovative way in which the offers and various services for the product are displayed across the website is also an important factor. For most of the products which are marketed online, it becomes important to use creative methods for eliciting responses from the customers.
This is phase 3, managing social media updates or customer service. This is another recurring income stream to keep the same clients paying you, like phase 2. In fact, you can offer a monthly package to your clients which can enable you to earn $997 and above for these constant tasks. Once the base is set for promoting a product or service online, the next step is to nurture the efforts required to maintain the site. This involves not only communicating with prospective clients, but also informing them about the latest offers. In the first step, you build a base as per the marketing strategy, aiming at the targeting audience which would be available across various websites on the internet such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, and Twitter. Once the appropriate audience has been decided, loyalty is built between the customer and the manager. Most of the future clients are tapped during the first step itself. However, extreme care should be taken while targeting the audience. Making an inappropriate choice when it comes to the clients could be extremely harmful for the future of the product. Take a look at the Twitter profiles of brands like Starbucks and AirAsia. What do you observe? There's always someone replying to Twitter messages tweeted by customers. This is because these companies have assigned employees to interact with customers on a constant basis to bridge and maintain relationships. You can offer to do exactly the same thing for your clients. You can manage and automate tweets or updates on social media sites on your client's behalf. Use hootsuite.com, so that is HOOTSUITE.com, a free service that allows you to automate status updates and tweets for free. You can offer to do real-time customer service on your client's behalf. They should pay you more for learning about their product, especially if it's a really specialized niche or area. Aside from developing the base of customers who would like to understand the nuances of the products and eventually go ahead to use the services offered, it is of utter importance to continuously build a base of customers through various channels and modes, which would strengthen the brand image and maintain long-term customer loyalty. In this phase, the responsibility of the manager is manifold, since it not only requires him to continuously identify new markets which would be successful for the growth of the product, but also to generate leads which result in business development. Maintaining a good base of customers is extremely important, as it requires a huge amount of hard work for creatively promoting the products. Apart from having mere knowledge of browsing through the media, it is more important to understand the diversity in the types of people who browse through these social networking sites. Since there is a plethora of people from across the globe who could be the future clients of the services offered by the firm's product and services. Aside from that, the third step, which follows after continuously endeavoring to maintain and gradually generate the leads, is to offer the most efficient customer service to the clientele. This can be undertaken by reducing the turnaround time of solving the queries that are raised by the customers. Once the offers and deals are shared over microblogging sites such as Twitter, the queries are to be answered in a live format. The time of replying the queries and suggestions should be minimized. Certain employees are employed by most large firms which religiously address all the issues and queries raised by the visitors. Once the accounts have been created over these websites, most of the queries which come up are in real-time mode and are required to be answered within the shortest span of time. This not only increases the credibility of the brand, but also increases the popularity of the product simply by word of mouth. There are various important reasons for social media manager to continue building his network, which would assist in making the marketing strategies much more effective and efficient. This leads to building a stream of continuous funds for the services which are offered by the manager. Similar methodologies can be used in using spaces over the sites, which can be used free of cost. On behalf of the client, these postings can be made across the sites, which would assist in making it much more convenient for the users to have their queries answered. This could as well be one of the differentiating factors among the success ratio of various consultants. One of the reasons why A-listed firms choose to employ a dedicated set of employees to deal with internet advertising is due to the expertise in understanding the current trends in the social networking arena, along with their skill in predicting the future and comprehending various stages that any product would undergo to succeed. Advertising a product in the newest way, which compromises of creative methodologies over the social networking sites, is of utmost importance and value.
This is Module 4, Pricing Your Social Media Service. Now that you have completely understood the three main phases involved in the process, let us take a look at the pricing model. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where you will understand how lucrative this job is for you. Apart from being a medium to connect to various people, social networking sites have now become hunting grounds for advertisers and marketing gurus. The new generation has a battalion of gadgets and modes which can be used to identify services and products of their choice. Not only that, even competitors existing in the market can be identified. As you know, your role as a social media manager is not only to identify potential customers, but also to build a profile to advertise the product while interacting with these potential clients. Such a person is mostly employed by either big companies or companies who run offline businesses. This role involves maintaining three crucial phases. The first phase requires the manager to identify the prospective sources where the product can be advertised and would garner the maximum response. The second phase requires continuously adding the amount of fans, followers, and leads. This would not only make the brand popular, but also increase awareness about the firm's offers. The last phase of building the brand over social networking sites requires communicating with the clientele. This could be on live mode or offline mode, where brand awareness is created and the suggestions along with queries of the customers are resolved. All these steps are extremely crucial and should be followed carefully since they affect the reputation of the brand. Considering the extensive breadth of these roles, it becomes essential to hire different individuals who might be able to do justice to each of these phases. Therefore, while the services are offered for each of these different roles, the pricing can also differ. Now let us see how you can set the pricing for your social media services for these three phases. Phase 1. The architectural stage. This is the most crucial stage, as the social media manager needs to be competent in identifying the right market and target audience for the services and the products, keeping in mind the processes, mission, and values of the firm whose products are being marketed. Therefore, a fee of $997 can be charged. This can be for one single profile which would be designed over the social media networking websites. In case the client is looking out for multiple profiles to coexist over the networking sites, a higher fee can be charged. The first phase is primary in terms of setting a strong base for the company's products. The parameters for identifying the right market for the products could be demographics, product offers, age of the target audience, etc. Phase 2. For the next phase involving adding fans, leads, and followers, the fee can be much lesser, considering the fact that the process does not need to be repeated. The task can be done for a fee of close to $297 to $997 a month. The fee is differential because the workload and expectation from the client varies. For hiring a consultant who is solely responsible for undertaking all the phases, the fee would be as high as $5,000. Hiring a single expert who specializes in one area would be cheaper, rather than hiring one who completes all three phases of identifying, designing, and maintaining the social networking interface between the firm and the customers. Phase 3. The last phase is also crucial for the firm's reputation, because after developing the profile of the firm and engaging customers by adding them, it is mandatory for the social media manager to revert and address all the queries which are raised by the clientele. In order to maintain the reputation of the brand, it is important to answer all the queries which are raised by the customers. This is also one of the potential steps which could make or break the brand. The queries could be replied through Twitter. Most of the companies employ a team of members who are hired for the sole purpose of answering the queries raised by the customers. The fee charge can range from $497 to $997 a month as well. Working as a third party within the company
can acquire a salary close to 997 to 2,997, which would also multiply in cases where many clients are considered. Considering that an individual consultant would charge $5,000 for one project, that is to complete all 3 phases, hiring an expert on a contractual basis can also be considered as an economic deal. Besides, it would be beneficial for the firm to lower the expenses, which would be involved in hiring employees. These tips can be important considering that any hired expert would prefer a recurring business with his or her client. Hiring a social network manager can be considered to be a win-win situation for both the client and the manager. Therefore, pricing the social media service is very essential for an expert. Now, you have an understanding of how it could be a profitable opportunity to become a social media manager. If you focus on expanding your client list, all the above figures can be multiplied to create your monthly income.